Bayou Beauty here, and I wanted to come to you guys today to talk to you about um, how to face your fears and cure anxiety. Um, I know there's a lot of people out there that suffer from anxiety, and the doctors are prescribing all types of inhibitors and narcotics and things like that to help people overcome and alleviate anxieties of stress. And the day and age of technology, people sleep with their phones, um, and always waking up checking whether it's YouTube, Facebook, social media itself, um, all the dealings with human sexuality, gender, things like that. A lot of things that our kids and us as us as well, everyone walking this earth, um, facing different types of adversity. Causes sometimes tend to cause anxiety or certain unwanted fears and things like that. So that's what I came to discuss and how I can help cure because I I faced a lot of anxiety at one point in my life, and I just wanted to share with you guys. Um, Sometimes I still do actually. I just wanted to share a few instances of anxiety and break it down. Even if you have children, adolescents that are facing um, different fears and anxieties, maybe this can help. This video can help them, um, you know, and the different ways to alleviate, so to speak. So I brought, I have a, I wrote down some notes, you guys, just in case I didn't want to forget anything. I jotted down just a few notes. Um, the word, some people may ask, what is anxiety because you hear it all the time. And I'm going to give you like the clinical word for anxiety for those that don't use Webster. It is, Google is out there all the time, but we're too busy moving. I mean, who some people just don't have time to stop. It's easier to just watch a YouTube video, and that's okay, no judgment. So, what is anxiety? Anxiety is an intense, excessive, and persistent worry and fear about everyday or various situations. Um, the symptoms may include heart palpitations, shortness of breath, and excessive worry. So, the word you know what, I looked up the definition alleviate because I know the word alleviate, but I wanted to give you guys, if there's any kids watching, I wanted to give you help you to understand when I say alleviate what that means. Okay, alleviate means to make suffering or um, suffering, deficiency, or a problem less severe, to make it less severe. So remember those two terms, alleviate, and of course we have the term anxiety, which means intense, excessive, um, and persistent worry. So if you guys want to get a pen and paper and jot down some things that I might have to say, you might want to get this from the grocery store. Okay, I have quite a few things that certain things that can help to alleviate anxiety or cure it. Okay, first off, let me share with you a couple of stories. I remember back in back in the early back in the early 90s. This is intense, you guys, because I almost lost my life back in um, 94. I almost lost my life quite a few times. But this one particular incident, a good friend of mine, we were um, we were getting ready to go to the city. It was in Oakland. Okay, we was getting ready to go across the bridge to the city, um, to this city. We getting ready to go across the bridge over the what you call Alamany, so part of San Francisco. So we kicking it, having a good time or whatever. But I brought we're getting ready to go to someone's mom's house, and I brought my daughter, and we caught the BART, and they picked us up from the BART station, okay? And I did not know that uh, the friend's brother had been drinking. And we got in the car, and we headed on the freeway. And in San Francisco, there's these freeways that, let me show you. I don't know where you guys, if you're in the country, you might not understand, but there's these freeways that cross over each other, interchange over each other like this, and they're way up in the sky. They're way in the air. We're driving on the freeway, and all of a sudden, we get ready to go around a curve, and something happened. The car got out of control or what have you. And if I don't tell you that we went over the guardrail and the car got stuck, we were literally dangling. If this is the car, we were dangling over the guardrail, okay? And I couldn't do anything but grab my friend, grab my best friend, and I grabbed my homegirl, and I grabbed my baby, and I said, please no, please no, please no, please no, please no. And at that moment, I just kept thinking, no, no, please no. Because I knew that, it was very possible that we were going to plummet to our death onto the other freeway. And it was real quiet. I couldn't hear anything. So I guess at that moment, my life was flashing before me. Because it was silent until maybe a minute went by. Could have been longer than that. I don't know how long we were dangling. But, and y'all excuse me because it brings tears to my eyes. I don't know how long we were dangling, hanging over onto the other freeway. But give me a second, y'all. Give me a second, you guys. Because I can't be doing the ugly, you know what I'm saying? Okay. I don't know how long we were hanging over the freeway. But I couldn't hear anything. It's just quiet, silence. It was a stillness that you wouldn't believe. And all of a sudden you could hear, and there was a jerky motion. And I was like, and I felt the car. We felt the car being pulled up. We were dangling at first, leaning forward, and then the car was being pulled up. And when I tell you that my God is ambidextrous, he's greater than any. He's greater than anything that you could even fathom. He's ambidextrous, male and female. He's everything. He's all, everything that was and ever could ever be, and everything that has not been. He's everything to me, because I know that there's several times that I could not be here, and that was one time for sure. It just so happened to be one of the California the rescue wreckers that were passing by, and they saw no other cars hit us or anything like that. They saw us dangling from the freeway and hurried up, got out of his truck, and pulled us back up. So, to make a long story short, yeah, we were, it was like, I'm so sorry, a friend's brother was like, I'm so sorry, everybody okay? That's a whole nother story. But my life was spared. So I could have just went off and did all the extra, but we were just so grateful to be alive. It was just a whole, just beyond grateful to be living at that moment. And I think about it, and I still have an emotion in me. So that, I didn't recognize it before, but sometimes trauma situations, it could cause you to develop a certain type of fear or anxiety, like going over bridges and things like that. So it didn't happen right away. So, but eventually, the fear, was planted, and it started developing to where, I used to drive across the bridge, Bay Bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge, all of them, all of them, Mississippi Bridge, all the time. And then all of a sudden, one day it was like I just got a funny feeling, like, oh my God, am I gonna fall in the water? And crazy thoughts or what have you will creep up in your mind. And I knew then it was anxiety developing. So you really don't pay attention to it until you pay attention to it. And it's at that time, at that point, it's already there. So what I did to knock that right on out the way, I started driving across bridges. We're not going to do this. You can't let fear stop you from living. You just don't let fear stop you from living, you guys. Don't do that. Don't do it. It'll hinder you, and it'll slowly put you into a box. And eventually, that box becomes a prison. And you are imprisoned in your own body, in your own avatar, At that point, then you don't want to go nowhere. You don't want to do nothing because you are in your own prison. You always thinking that something, well, if I go here, something going to happen. If I do this, it's going to, if I get on a plane, I'm scared to, I was scared to death to fly. Every time I get ready to get on a plane, I have a certain amount of anxiety. I used to have a certain amount of anxiety about me, and no, we're not gonna do that. Since I've grown in my spirituality, I fly a lot. I fly a lot. Um, this year, let me see. I'm trying to think. Um, I know I have to fly 4 more times to 4 different states, 4 or 5 for sure, um, before the year is out. For sure. Nope, 5, 6. I know I have to fly 6 more times before the year is out. Um, for sure. The rest of them, I'm not too sure about, but they're on my agenda. But I know that I have to make 6 flights, six different states before the year is out for sure. That's already on my calendar. Um, I got to get on the plane. So, and I refuse to be, when those butterflies come, you just cannot. You cover yourself, you put your protections up, you say your prayers, you say, well, burn your sage, whatever it is you got to do. Do it and keep it pushing. You push past it. You got to push through the wall. Push through the wall. Push through it and find out that and see yourself on the other side. See yourself on the other side. Do not let anxiety, fear become a prison for you in your mind. All is mind. All is mind. If you practice the 7 Hermetic principles, the first one is all is mind. Everything is mental. So everything is formed from a thought. Everything. Everything. This match. Everything. Air, fire, water. Everything is formed from a thought. And if you can remember that, all is mind. It's in your mind. It's in your mind. Whether you want to step outside of that house or not, it's in your mind to do so. You control you. Don't let fear control you. Because then you're putting yourself in a prison. And I knew, like, for my kids, I can't do that. For myself, I refuse to do that. The goal is to live free. So, I don't want to make it long and drawn out, and I hope that you guys are able to understand where I'm coming from. I hope this helps somebody as far as fears and anxiety. I know this is a little unorthodox. The point that I'm trying to convey to you guys, it's a little unorthodox, but I gave you those examples of like what has happened to me or what have you as far as that goes. Oh, and I drove the bus. Drove the bus, drive across the country. Me and my children, you cannot let fear. If there's something that has caused fear in your life, do the opposite. If you were in, oh, I don't know, if you were in a car crash and you just cannot see yourself driving anymore, get you a car. If you have a car and you don't feel like you can drive it anymore, every day drive to the closest stop sign that at your house. If your stop sign is at the in within 1 block of your house, you get in that car and you drive to the stop sign. You turn around and drive back to your garage until tomorrow, and then make it to where at some point you drive beyond that stop sign the next day. Drive beyond that stop sign, no matter what it's going to take. Okay, I'm going to drive to the first corner store I see. The first store I see, that's where I'm the first parking lot I see, that's where the first strip mall I see, that's where I'm stopping, and I'm going to turn around and I'm gonna go home. And tomorrow I'm gonna go even further. Every day, push yourself to go further and further and further and further. Till you done drove to a whole nother state. What, sis? But you gotta keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Same way with depression. Today, I'm not gonna stay in the house. I'm not gonna stay in the house. I'm gonna walk outside and go get my mail. Okay? You come back on a Monday. You come back in the house and go. Today I walked outside and I went to go get the mail. I did not stay in the house. I took my time and walked to the mailbox, and I was able to breathe. Walk slow. Breathe. Notice everything. Feel everything on your way to walking to the mailbox. The next day, walk to the mailbox. But when you walk to the mailbox, go to the mailbox and go to the first corner, and then walk back home. Every day, get a little further, a little further, a little further. Every day. As long as you keep putting one foot in front of the other, you're going to get somewhere. You're going to get somewhere. And keep telling yourself nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. I am protected. I am a divine being. Nothing is going to happen. I'm going to go where I need to go, and I will not be in prison within my mind. Some of the oils that I use, or herbs that I use, I burn sage, but I also burn lavender through my house. You could burn lavender to help relax you and calm you of your, to alleviate some of those anxieties. Another thing is I speak on ashwagandha. I'm such an advocate of ashwagandha because while it helps to cure thyroid disease and certain other diseases and disorders, it also helps alleviate anxiety and lower your cortisol levels. And those are stress hormones that can even build up in your body and cause your stomach to be bloated. Look it up and do your research. But ashwagandha root, whether it's in the pill form or in a tea, either one, that's a great start to alleviating anxiety. You want to also work out. If you're in the house and you can't go nowhere, maybe you just had a baby, maybe you had an incident to where you can't leave the house. Work out. Walk in your house. I used to set a timer before I could. When I had my surgery for my son, my C-section, and I was my last one was really bad off. I used to. Okay, you guys. Before we were interrupted by the tube, as I was saying, I used to set my timer on my phone, put my pedometer on, and go ahead and walk slow and methodically with some music in my house. And one step at a time, one step at a time. And I was determined. You have to want it. I was determined to get back to normal or some type of normality. Um, but yeah, um, because that last C-section was a beast. Cause they cut your girl with no anesthesia. Okay, for real. So that's another story for another time. But getting back to what I was saying, because your girl can get sidetracked from time to time. I was saying I also, aside from burning the lavender, I also burn the chamomile, and it smells wonderful. I keep it. I keep it in a jar to burn from time to time. Sometimes I'll mix it with the sage. I don't too much. I'll do lavender and chamomile separately. Sometimes it can be too much, a little overpowering. But I like the subtleness of it. I use it for my spiritual baths. I grind it up and put it in cheesecloth with some other herbs and some baking soda and Epsom salt and sea salt, and put it in my bath. And salt is a mineral that will absorb negative energy. In case you guys didn't know, just your regular salt, table salt if you got it. Sea salt is a little bit better, but it will absorb negative energy and help combat that uh, the anxiety. It'll help to bring that down, because salt of the earth, it's grounding. Try it. Sprinkle some salt in. I sprinkle salt in my shoes sometimes if I get nervous when I'm getting ready to take a test or get on that airplane. Every now and then I'll put it in my socks, and just to help absorb the negative energy or that nervous type energy, and it brings it on down and helps to ground me. And I hope this helps. I'm probably forgetting something, y'all, but I gotta go punch this clock real quick. So I hope it helped. And I want you guys to have a beautiful electric day, okay? If you have any questions, comments, concerns, gripes, whatever, or if you have anything that you want to post that can help someone else, just post it, leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. I love y'all. Don't take no with niggles. I mean nickels. Bye, y'all.